excited as everyone. And of course, same like Simon, we're all excited to have Mr. Tan here. We have been working with Mr. Tan on various projects. I think one of the recent project is this book, Illustrative MPERS book. You all may have seen it, some of you may have bought it, and of course, after you buy it, you would have to use it. Alright. So the good news is we have it outside. My colleague from membership is selling outside, and because after this session, we will have the signing session where you can take that opportunity to actually have your book signed by Mr. Tan. Alright, so without further delay, let me just start the session. So Mr. Tan, if you could explain, give us a brief background of yourself and then your career history.
Thanks, Rasmimi. I started as a tutor back in 1977 and became a lecturer in 1979. My first teaching assignment as a guru is not in accounting, agriculture, agribusiness. Then in 1982, the university wanted to have somebody academia with accounting background. I think the university offered lucrative posts to attract professional accountants. Not even one accountant applied. I think maybe the package wasn't that good. So the university decided to send two of us, get seconded to the audit firm and do our professional exam. So I was seconded to EY, Ernst & Whitney then in 1982 to pursue my CPA. So I was articleship there for some 3 years plus. And in 1986 I went back to teach at that time accounting role. But I kept involved with the professional developments because if I then decided I want to be in the academia, it's not just about teaching. We got to keep ourselves up to date with the development. So I became very actively involved with the technical committee of the then MICPA, MIA when we were developing local standards. And at the same time, I taught accounting subjects, not just in the universities, but for professional exams. Initially for MICPA students, and after that I branched to ACCA, CIMA, and all those other professional qualifications. But I also do collaborative research with the professional bodies, the MICPA, the MIA, and also involved in the accounting technical committees. So some of the locally developed standards like accounting for aquaculture, property development, and the then controversial goodwill standard, I helped draft them. Okay, and after that, my career in the university, basically we have to do teaching, research, and extension of professional development. So I spend about 1/3 of my time in each of the 3 areas. And when it comes to research, in university, you have to publish. So in addition to publishing articles, writing books was one of my aim to come out with a book. And that was what prompted me to start writing books in accounting in the early 1990s. But my first book was actually not in accounting, it was in financial management. And I started to write the console book. Why? Because I think at that time, we didn't have enough local materials. And in professional exams, especially the MICPA exam, the final part, consolidation question is the #1 question. Carries 30%, I think. And if you don't do it well, you can forget about passing the paper, come back next year, and so on. So I taught this subject, financial reporting, and the emphasis is on consolidated financial statement. For the reason that this area is very difficult to understand for beginners. So initially, I started by giving lecture notes to my students. And over the years, compile them, and then what prompted me is from the notes, why not convert it into a book? That was the start of the consolidated financial statement book. I can't remember exactly the year. I think it's the early 1990s. And initially, the aim was to target students. But then, over the years, I found that the book also accepted by practitioners, preparers, and so on. So that's why it prompted me or motivated me to keep the book alive, you see. And I think, like what Simon said, I'm planning for a 9th edition next year. The shelf life of a book in accounting is about 3 years. After which the book cannot sell again. So that's my plan. I retired from the university in 2006. Initially I retired, I more or less lay park, do nothing. But when you retire, you have so much time, Now initially I do traveling here and there, but I told my missus I can't just be lying down watching TV all the time, So after that, I became involved, continue to be involved in teaching, professional development, and do some consultancy work. And from 2006 onward, it was like some part-time job here and there, and until now, I think it's already about 12 years since I retired. But I'm still very involved in some of the technical projects or technical development, right? I'm not sure, I don't want to have a cut-off point, but from now on, maybe next year onward, I will continue to do work, but it's more pastime. Not part-time, pastime. That's for my plan.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tan. In writing the book, so you have explained about you turn all your lecture notes into books. So maybe for those, whoever here would like to know what is the end-to-end process in writing a book.
End-to-end process. I think first you got to know what's the aim, the objective of a book that you are going to write by looking at the user or the reader. Who are you trying to target, you see? And once you have decided, like, I'm going to write a console book, right? So that's my aim, to help the students, the practitioners, and so on, or financial reporting, right? And for that, I will target the date. You have to fix a date and that you intend to release the book and work on it. So my first step will be to specify the content I want to write in the book, starting from maybe the first chapter to the final chapter, right? And from the first chapter to the final, each chapter you have to sort of think about firstly the purpose or the learning objective of that chapter. I give a brief introduction. And after that, you give your views, a commentary on the accounting requirements, the recognition and measurement principle, but always refer to the latest standards dealing with that area, right? And very important in accounting books is you must provide illustrative example. And don't be afraid to give your own opinion. You are writing a book, you are in the academia. So even if your opinion differs from what is prescribed in the standard, go ahead, right? Give your views, right? And I think that's the way to plan, right? And once you have planned, you work on it, then if I will complete the book, say in 1 year, 12 months, then I will target the first 12 chapters. I need to finish the first chapter by the first month, second chapter, second month, and so on. And you work on it. Right? I spend, for a new book, I spend about 3 to 4 hours a day. Every day, 3 to 4 hours, right? For about 6 months. So initially it was a bit difficult in a university because we have so many duties, teaching, research, consultation with students, and so on. Don't have that much time. So my second book on financial reporting, I took sabbatical leave because I was working on that book for a long time. It didn't reach the final stage, you see. So I told the university, I said, let me go on leave. We are entitled to go on sabbatical leave. So sabbatical leave, just full time, 6 to 8 hours a day, work on it every day. But you must not stop. Once you stop, you will lose the momentum. You write one chapter, then after that you stop for 1 month. Next month you come back, you lose track of what you have written. So the motivation or the passion must be there to write a book. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, you get a book in the bookshop. That's a satisfaction you get. Seeing the book in the bookshop. Monetary reward, that one is secondary. It comes after that.
So this book, the first edition, how long did you take to write it? Because the second is more of the adding more to the first edition.
I think the illustrative financial statements, when it comes to the final release, it's longer than the usual because we have to go through the technical committee of the MIA. Certain issues in accounting, right? There's no such thing as an only correct treatment. So you have to explore. Now, if I'm a writer of this book, I will just write based on what I think, right? So that's why it took a bit long because it has got to go through a very long due process. I think the draft was completed much earlier, but it took us more than 6 months, I think, to get the views or the final draft accepted. But it's good in the sense that it go through a proper due process, having the technical committee from the MIA to review the book.
What are the challenges that you face in writing books? If any,
The main challenges are firstly to try and write the book in a way that your readers or your users will be able to understand. Although it can be a very technical matter, but you must write it in such a way that your readers can understand it easily. Right? That is the most challenging part in the sense that accounting topics can be highly technical, financial instrument, and so on. So how are we going to write the book so that the beginners, like the accounting students in the university, like straight away, if you go and talk about option, future, swap, I think as a student, I'll just throw the book away. So we're going to start to develop step by step by introducing the subject matter and so on, so that they can understand what you are writing. That is the first challenge. For writers, I think that is important. You can be highly knowledgeable in a particular area or technical area, but the challenge is, would you be able to put it to your readers in a book? And the other challenges, the other one is to find enough real cases, real issues in practice, and convert it into a case or example in the book. That's not easy to come by. I happen to get involved in professional development with the MIA and my CPA. I do consultancy work and so on. And from over the years, some 40 years already, I have come across many real life cases. Sometimes they are not dealt with in particular standard. So I will convert that into a case study. So I think the advantage I have in my book is that my book examples or cases are real life cases adopted to suit the content of the book. So I sometimes tell my clients, I'm doing this job for you as a consultancy, I'm going to use this in my book. Of course they agree as long as you don't put the name of the company. Those are the challenges.
When an accounting issue is presented to you, because you are saying that you have various illustrative examples in your books, so surely that would have various come from various accounting issues. So how do you normally approach it?
My consultancy work, my engagement with an audit firm, I'm a technical consultant there, or I get involved with the MASB work. In the past, I used to be a technical consultant as well. I would first address the issue in terms of what is it that I'm addressing, and that would normally involve a recognition issue, like is it an asset, is it liability, income or expense, rather than go straight to this is how you do it, right? It can be simple, like most of the time I can refer to particular standard dealing with that particular item, but sometimes you have to make your judgment about what is it and why you are accountable for it. I take a case like some years back, we have a client, that is in the construction business, and it undertake a construction of a house for a property, for a landowner, and the contractor company bear all the costs of constructing the building, all the costs, and the agreement provides for the contractor no payment from the landowner. For the agreement, you construct, bear all the costs, and after that, you can use the building for 10 years. So my client proposed, recognize what they call PPE. And came to me, I said, this is strange, right? No? So the first thing I asked is, what are we accounting? So that basically, we have to decide on the elements. Is it PPE? Is it construction contract? And so on. Right? And if you think about it, the building you capitalize as your PPE, capital work in progress. It doesn't belong to you. It's only 10 years that you can use the building, and you say free of charge. There's nothing in the world free of charge. So we go back to the elements. We say, no, this is not a PPE. This is a construction contract. You are the contractor. Right? And therefore, as a contractor, your recognition should be what would be your revenue, what would be your expenses. And then the building is not your building. You can't capitalize that in the building. So the element we look at that time, we don't have the IFRS 16 leases, but I propose intangible asset. Capitalize the intangible asset. And if you then decide on the measurement, what, why, and then how much and how. Then we go back to the detail in terms of the measurement, like you should measure your revenue based on the applicable standard, which would be, if you are talking about intangible asset, you are a contractor, if you spend 10 million, obviously you have to make some profit. Right? So we added a profit margin. That is the revenue with the corresponding recognition of an intangible asset. So actually my approach will be, what is it we are counting, the elements, and why. And then after that, the measurement. how much is it? Then only the detailed accounting procedures, how to do it. If you go straight on how to do it without addressing the first recognition issue, I think you might miss the point. And over the years, I have approached it that way. I have a lot of consultancy work and always come back to the same thing. First, I ask myself, what is it that I'm addressing and why am I addressing it? Then only I proceed to the next part on how much is involved and the detailed accounting procedure after that. That's one example. Do you want another example?
Okay, yeah, I think it's enough for the time. Okay, but I think that is a very good application which can be applied by any of us, especially those in PAIB, SPAIB members, where first you establish what, and then why, and then how much. I think we all use that judgment whenever we want to determine the right accounting treatment of a transaction. We have many technical accounting books. Which one did you enjoy writing most and why?
Actually, I enjoy all of them. But one, I think if you ask me to rank, I have to rank my consolidated financial statements, the one I enjoy the most.
Why is that?
Firstly, when I was a student, that was my favorite topic. And when I taught advanced accounting, that was also my favorite topic. And it's challenging because this area can be very complex. So that's why I enjoy the most. Other than that, I think the other book which I also would rank highly would be my Financial Accounting and Reporting in Malaysia book.
You have all these books. How do you think these books impacted the accounting fraternity in Malaysia?
I think many accounting bodies, the smaller firms or even the bigger firms, they use my book as a reference. That's why the sales is quite encouraging. I got to keep on updating that and so on. And I feel very happy, every time the accounting firm, sometimes they go and discuss with lawyers on some technical issue. They bring my book along. That was told to me by my daughter, who is a lawyer, and they have to discuss some technical issues with the auditing firm. So the partners brought along the book. That's how my daughter said, "Papa, your book is used as a reference." And they discuss. I mean, it's generally accepted, so I think it has impacted the profession.
What would be your advice to all of them here when they use your publication? Because like you say that the auditor use your books to argue with the lawyers, for example. So, any advice to them when they use your books?
Yeah, you can use that as a reference, but in some areas which are still not resolved or which are controversial, I think you still have to exercise your professional judgment. Avoid boilerplate, cut and paste. That one not encouraged. Although we sometimes see companies do that. When I remember when the first standard of financial instruments came out back in 19, can't really remember the year. And I saw the published account of all the firms, some of the firms, word by word the same for this company, this company, this company, this company, exactly the same. And I checked, no wonder they're same auditor. At the time, they even have, it wasn't a disclosure standard, but they even have, that means the recognition was not in yet, is it? So they even have recognition standard in the disclosure. I said, are you sure? We have not adopted IAS 39. It was just IAS 32 on disclosure. So how can you mention recognition? That is the danger. You have to use your judgment when you use any particular reference, be it accounting standard or even books.
What is your advice for aspiring technical writers? How can they write a good piece of technical writing?
I think you have to develop an interest in writing first. Whether or not you are going to devote time to write. If you are in academia, I think this is part of your work. You got to write. I believe that for a lecturer at the end of your career, you must have at least a couple of books. Because I think academia you're more flexible in terms of the time. You have like your teaching assignment, your research, your professional development or extension work. Why don't just convert some of those into a book for professionals? If you going to write a technical article or even a technical book, again you have to plan it ahead in terms of what you're going to write, your objective, and so on. And then always start out with the rationale or the principle involved in a particular area. And for technical writing, I think you need to refer to the accepted standards and so on, and make sure yourself you are technically conversant with the requirement. And then you start to write the article in a logical manner, the background to it, the rationale, the principle involved, either it is prescribed in the standard and why. Right? And then you discuss the technical requirement, but always give alternative views, right? And your conclusion, right? And if it is some article that you want to demonstrate the application of the requirement, I think it will be good to give examples. Otherwise, it will be just word and word. For some, it can follow, but most readers would prefer to have an illustrative example for a technical article.
You mentioned a few that you will continue writing your consolidated financial statements book. What are other books that you have in the pipeline? So in 2019.
My next year, this year I have released 3 books, including illustrative and 2 books. They are on the current issues like the financial instrument standard FRS 9, then the revenue standard IFRS 15, the list standard IFRS 16. So my target next year already finalized the drama is the 9th edition of my consolidated financial statement. And what's in the pipeline now and working on it is my financial accounting and reporting volume 1. Right? Because like I said, every 3 years I got to update it. Right? So that I target to be at either towards the end of 2019 or beginning of 2020. And then financial accounting and reporting volume 2, the target is 2020. But I work in advance in the sense that I already started working on it before the targeted rate of release. Like I said, you got to plan ahead. You cannot just say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to write my new book or write a new edition. And I keep up to date with the development at the international level. I mean, nowadays you can have access to information about what is going on, what are discussed at the ISB level and so on. So technology has actually helped in terms of getting the information. If I want to know about actual company practices, I go to the Bursa website I download their financial statement. Then I read their financial statement. To pass time. That's my hobby, to pass time. Read financial statement, read technical articles.
It's very difficult. First time reading technical. You mentioned about technology. So the books that I've seen, your books that I've seen in the market are hard copy books. Do you have books that if you can share a little bit of that soft copy, or it is on the
my publisher now release both hard and soft copy. Like all the books I've written, you can either buy hard copy or you can buy the soft copy. I have also another product which is an online product, which means that the content will always be constantly updated every quarter. And that one is subscription based. You can go to my publisher and check it. It's under CCHR. That one will be soft copy. And then the online version is better because it's updated all the time, you see. So anytime that there is a new development or a new accounting standard or new law, I will get the content updated. But book, you write once in every 3 years. So by the time you release an edition, you'll be current. But over time, you might find that there will be changes. And it's not easy to update a book. You cannot just update, cut one section, paste it, and so on. Unlike the soft version, is it?
My final question, what is your view on the future of the accounting profession in Malaysia?
In Malaysia,
Yes.
I think the profession will still be good, right? I think compared to other professions, but in the future, as I say, that there will be changes in terms of the advancement in technology, changes in business operation, and so on. Right. So these changes, I think, for accountants, if we still want to stay relevant, we have to embrace the changes. I mean, there will be threats in terms of whether or not accountants will be replaced by robots or artificial intelligence and so on. I don't really foresee that robots would replace human beings. The thinking part will still be human. And come a time when robot can take over your thinking, we might not exist. I don't know, because I think accountants will still be relevant. Maybe the challenges will be to embrace the changes and adapt to these changes. The future will still be bright, so don't worry, accountants, especially the younger generation. Your demand is still there. Company do well, company do badly. Company do well, you do consolidation, you do acquisition. Company do badly, you do liquidation, distribution, and so on. There will always be job for the accountants. Right?
Okay, I think this is one session that somebody is very optimistic about accountants. Because we just had our public sector financial management conference. We were talking about machines will replace humans. Where in 2018, a machine is about 22% machine is doing the job, but come 2025, 52% of the jobs will be done by machines. So I'm very glad to hear from Mr. Tan that we will be there, whether the economy is good or bad. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tan.